This exhibition subject is important to me because although we are in 2023, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done promoting female and non-binary identifying artists in this white cube experience. This exhibition attempts to push forward that narrative and that fight. My name is Arden Sherman. I am the Glenn W. and Cornelia T. Bailey Senior Curator of Contemporary Art. Today, we are inside the first floor special exhibition space, and I'm here to introduce you to the exhibition entitled Reflecting the Gaze, Jillian Mayer and Abigail Reyes. This marks my first exhibition at the Norton Museum of Art, and I'm very happy to show you around today. We developed this exhibition based around these two video works, one by Abigail Reyes and one by Jillian Mayer. And those are really the crux of the exhibition concept. The videos on display articulate each artist's revisionist perspective on visual culture. By pairing these works in conversation with a handful of contemporary artworks from the Norton Museum's contemporary collection, the exhibition attempts to disrupt and redirect the position of who's gazing and at whom. The term male gaze was first coined by film theorist Laura Mulvey in her 1973 essay entitled Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema. Mulvey explains that in popular cinema, women are simultaneously being looked at and displayed. They are prepped and ready for the gazer. In this scenario, the male viewer is the active looker, and the female presence is passive, even inviting the gaze, and thus merely an object of desire. All of the works in the exhibition were created by female and non-binary identifying artists. This exhibition in unison illustrates moments where the artist locates their subject as an active participant in the viewing experience rather than a passive recipient of observation, thus taking back that agency.
Sí, señor. Sí, señor.
Sí, señor.
Sí, señor. Sí, señor.
In Abigail Reyes' video entitled Sí, Señor, we see the artist's careful editing of telenovelas, primarily made in the 1990s in Latin America.
Sí, señor. Sí, señor.
Reyes has unmanned and almost completely erased the male figure from the visual landscape of the video. Instead, the male presence appears through the voices of women working in servitude and obedience.
Sí, señor.
Sí, señor.
In her video entitled Hilda, Jillian Mayer reimagines the origin story of Venus de Milo. Venus de Milo is one of the most famous Greek artworks known and is believed to depict Aphrodite, who's the goddess of love. The statue is housed at the Louvre Museum in Paris, and she stands over 6 feet tall. The statue has become a fetish of quixotic beauty. So in other words, to be an armless woman is to be desired. Mayer inserts herself as the iconic statue and rewrites the narrative, taking control of the artwork's genesis story. This is a work by Colombian artist Maria Barrio. In 2021, Maria had a solo exhibition here at the Norton Museum of Art, and part of that exhibition, she created this work. In this work, entitled The Quiet Undoing, we see a lounging female figure, and she eerily resembles the artist herself, although the artist claims it's not a self-portrait. This work was created during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when Maria Barrio would walk from her home to her studio in Brooklyn, New York. And the soundscapes of fear and uncertainty would enmesh her and that experience. And through that, she developed a series of paintings that we see here. We can assume that the sitter is there under her favorite bougainvillea tree, thinking about the uncertainty, contemplating the collective grief that had been experienced during this time, and taking a moment to pause and reflect. This is a work here by Cheyenne Jillian, and it's a recent acquisition to the museum, supported by our Emerging Collectors Council. What we see here are two women lounging on a beach towel. The figures are loosely based off the artist's cousins. They show women of color having a moment of leisure. The figures are lounging on a Puerto Rican flag, which is a direct reference to the artist's culture and heritage. It's not a common scene in today's museums, despite where we are in 2023. And that's what I love about this work, that the artist has positioned her figures front and center and enjoying themselves. This is a work by the artist Joan Brown. And Joan Brown was a key figure in the second generation Bay Area figurative movement that really became popular in the 1970s. Her work often stands as a visual diary of her life. In this work, we really see her positioning, this is a self-portrait, her positioning herself in three forms: the human form, the gorilla form, and the wolf. She explains this work as its three entry points into her own psyche. This is a work by Florida-based artist Jill Kennedy. And what's exciting about this work is it's the first time that we've been able to publicly present it. What we see here is the central figure. It's a lounging woman, and like Joan Brown, Jill Kennedy often depicts pets in her work. So you'll see this figure elegantly dressed in lace, thoughtfully sitting next to her dog. And what I love about this work is there's so much open for interpretation, and the viewer really has the ability to lean into it, to investigate it, and unpack what scenario might have been happening in this work. I hope that our audiences will come to this exhibition and be introduced to two artists they might not have otherwise known, Abigail and Jillian. In addition to that, I hope that viewers come through the exhibition and gain an understanding of how artists are compelled to use their medium as a way to express themselves.